The 10th of May, 1940, 8 months after the beginning of the Second World War. Nazi Germany invades the Netherlands, and German bombers attack the military airfields and barracks around The Hague. In an attempt to influence public opinion, Hitler justifies the attack with a lie, claiming that England and France have been planning to attack Germany via the Netherlands and Belgium. During the invasion, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, uses paratroopers to capture tactical points and to assist in the advance of ground troops across the country. On the 15th of May, 1940, the Netherlands surrenders and signs a capitulation agreement. Soon after, the Nazis start to occupy the whole country and pass new anti-Jewish laws, which are designed to exclude Jewish people from society and restrict their livelihood. The systematic deportations of Dutch Jews to death camps start in July 1942. Although some Dutch citizens join the resistance as they cannot bear to see what is happening to their country and people, there are also those who cooperate with the Nazis and fight against their own countrymen. One such traitor, who will eventually become the leader of the Dutch SS during the Second World War, is Henk Feldmeijer. Johannes Hendrik Feldmeijer, the son of a sergeant major, was born on the 30th of November 1910 in the city of Asse, in the northeastern part of the Netherlands. Originally named Johannes Hendrik Feldmeijer, his family changed their surname to Feldmeijer in 1915, a decision likely influenced by their German heritage. Feldmeijer, who went by his middle name Henk, grew up in the city of Groningen, where his family moved in 1912. He excelled academically, graduating from high school in 1928 with top grades in every subject. This earned him a scholarship to study mathematics and physics at the University of Groningen. However, his academic journey took a turn when he interrupted his studies in 1931 to fulfill his national military service. During his time in the military, Feldmeijer met a leader of the recently established stormtroopers of the National Socialist Movement in the Netherlands, or the NSB, a Dutch counterpart to the German Nazi Party. Inspired by their ideology, he joined the NSB in 1932 as member number 479, becoming one of its earliest members. This gave him direct access to the movement's leader, Anton Mussert. Feldmeijer quickly rose through the ranks, using his exceptional oratory skills to deliver speeches across Groningen. He passionately advocated for a strong leader like Mussert and openly criticized democracy. His talents did not go unnoticed, and he soon secured a paid position in the NSB's propaganda department. Feldmeijer's ideological development was deeply influenced by the Folkish movement, a radical faction within the NSB that emphasized the Germanic roots of Dutch culture. Alongside figures like Meinoud Rost van Tonningen, one of the most influential members of the NSB, Feldmeijer promoted racist and anti-Semitic views, idealizing the lives of the Dutch people's Germanic ancestors. This group's influence led to a radicalization of the NSB's policies. Feldmeijer also maintained secret contacts with the German SS circles, connections that were unknown to his NSB superiors. These ties further deepened his fascination with the SS ideology, which he had to conceal due to the NSB's cautious stance toward the SS. In 1937, Feldmeijer married Ibotia Anagasikas. The same year, he became a key member of a group later known as the Folkish Working Community. This group conducted research to promote the idea that Dutch culture was fundamentally Germanic, aligning with the SS vision of a unified Germanic Reich. Despite his growing affinity for the SS, Feldmeijer's radical views eventually led to a conflict with the NSB leader Anton Mussert. In the autumn of 1937, Feldmeijer was removed from the NSB headquarters in Utrecht and appointed district leader of Salland, a region in the east of the Netherlands. Feldmeijer's fortunes changed in August 1939 when Rost van Tonningen appointed him commander of the Mussert Guard, a paramilitary group modeled after the German SS. This role allowed Feldmeijer to further align himself with SS principles, and he made several trips to Berlin to advise on Dutch-language radio broadcasts for Nazi propaganda. The Second World War started on the 1st of September 1939 when Nazi Germany invaded Poland. Feldmeijer's activities drew the attention of the Dutch government, and on the 3rd of May 1940 he was arrested alongside Rost van Tonningen and other NSB members deemed dangerous to the state. When Germany invaded the Netherlands just days later, Feldmeijer and his fellow prisoners were transported to France. On the 30th of May 1940, they were liberated by German troops in a French port city of Calais. Feldmeijer returned to the Netherlands, where he was introduced to Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, and Arthur Seyss-Inquart, the Reichskommissar of the German-occupied Netherlands. Impressed by his charisma and dedication, they entrusted him with the establishment of the Germanic SS. Feldmeijer quickly set about organizing the Dutch SS, which was established in September 1940. Its primary purpose was to recruit Dutch volunteers for the Waffen-SS, the military branch of the SS, and to promote Nazi ideology, including the idea of a shared Germanic heritage. Although Anton Mussert, the leader of the NSB, had initially opposed its creation, pressure from the German authorities forced him to accept it. In practice, Feldmeijer did not answer to Mussert, but reported directly to Heinrich Himmler and Albin Rauter, the higher SS and police leader in the occupied Netherlands. By November 1942, the Dutch SS had grown to a maximum of around 4,000 members. It maintained a dual status, formerly part of the NSB, but effectively integrated into the German SS structure. Feldmeijer was deeply committed to the Nazi cause and urged his followers to actively support the German war effort. He personally volunteered to fight on the front lines twice. In the spring of 1941, he served as a gunner with the elite Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler Division during campaigns in Yugoslavia and Greece. A year later, he returned to combat as a flak commander of the SS Division Viking on the Eastern Front, experiencing firsthand the brutal battles in southern Russia. There, he witnessed the German defeat at Stalingrad. For his service, Feldmeijer was awarded several military honors, including the Iron Cross Second Class, the General Assault Badge, and the Wound Badge in Black. However, his unwavering loyalty to the SS caused ongoing friction with Mussert. While Feldmeijer supported the idea of fully integrating the Netherlands into Hitler's Greater Germanic Reich, Mussert envisioned a more autonomous role for the country within a German-led European order. German officials saw Feldmeijer as a useful tool to undermine Mussert's influence. Their rivalry reached its peak in May 1943, when relations between the NSB and the SS effectively broke down. Although the two men made a public appearance together to suggest unity, in reality, the ties between the NSB and the German SS were severed. As Feldmeijer's loyalty shifted fully toward the SS leadership, his involvement in some of the most brutal Nazi operations in the Netherlands deepened. One of the most notable examples of this was his key role in Operation Silbertanne, a series of targeted assassinations aimed at punishing resistance activities and intimidating the Dutch population. Together with Albin Rauter, Feldmeijer oversaw the planning and execution of these retaliatory killings. The operation was launched in response to a wave of attacks by the Dutch resistance, particularly the assassination of high-profile collaborators. The catalyst came in early February 1943, when the communist resistance group CS6 assassinated retired General Hendrik Seyss-Inquart, who was the leading representative of the Volunteer Legion Netherlands, a unit of the Waffen-SS on the Eastern Front. Seyss-Inquart was seen by the resistance as a key figure in the Nazis' plans to conscript Dutch men for the Eastern Front. His death, followed shortly by the assassination of another collaborator, Hermanus Reiten, led the Nazi leadership to demand harsh reprisals. Feldmeijer was tasked with organizing these reprisals and formed a special execution unit known as Sonderkommando Feldmeijer, consisting of around 15 handpicked Dutch SS members. Under Rauter's orders and Feldmeijer's leadership, this death squad carried out a systematic campaign of killings. Their victims were often civilians suspected of sympathizing with the resistance, supporting the Dutch royal family, or holding anti-German views. The goal was clear: spread fear and break the will of the occupied population. On the 1st and 2nd of October 1944, in the village of Putter, a total of 602 men were deported to various concentration camps in Germany to be killed in retaliation for resistance activity in the Putter raid. This raid was carried out as a reprisal for a Dutch resistance attack on a vehicle carrying personnel from the Wehrmacht, the German armed forces. Only 48 men returned at the end of the war, but due to their mistreatment in the camps, another 5 died after they arrived home. Some people returned crippled, as they had been kept in small cages that they could not stand in. Between September 1943 and September 1944, at least 54 civilians were murdered as part of Operation Silbertanne. In September 1943, Feldmeijer himself participated in the killing of Dutch civilians in retaliation for attacks by the resistance. One of the most prominent victims was the well-known Dutch writer Adrianus Michiel de Jong, who was killed in October 1943. Feldmeijer's actions went far beyond what even some Nazi officials deemed acceptable. While the SS fully supported the operation, Anton Mussert and parts of the NSB leadership strongly opposed the Silbertanne killings, viewing them as counterproductive and excessively brutal. However, Mussert had no real power to stop Feldmeijer and his SS superiors. Throughout the operation, Hans Albin Rauter and Erich Naumann, the commander of the security police and SD in the Netherlands, assisted the perpetrators. Naumann even personally approved the executions carried out by Feldmeijer and his death squad. By September 1944, due to the Allied advance, shifting priorities, and increasing resistance and public backlash, the SS leadership in the Netherlands decided to halt Operation Silbertanne. Until the very end, Feldmeijer continued to fight for his ideals. He even wanted to fight against the Allied invasion of the Netherlands, but it never came to that. On the 22nd of February 1945, while driving to his position at the front, his car was strafed by an Allied fighter plane, and Henk Feldmeijer was killed. He was 34 years old. He received a state funeral at Hedlow Palace, conducted entirely in SS style with the entire NSB leadership in attendance. His body was later moved to Esserfeld Cemetery in Groningen, where he is buried. After hearing of Feldmeijer's death, Himmler sent Rauter a telegram where he wrote, "I am very sad over the death of Feldmeijer. Please convey my condolences to his wife. Feldmeijer was the future of Holland in my eyes. Don't bother to offer my condolences to Mr. Mussert, as he never knew what kind of man he had in Feldmeijer." There were no tears shed for Henk Feldmeijer.
Thanks for watching the World History Channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss our next episodes. We thank you, and we'll see you next time on the channel.